If you're watching this alone, don't skip ahead, because some stories change when you know how they end. This is one of those stories. In 2018, a travel blogger named Eleanor Price decided to take a solo road journey across the American Midwest. This wasn't some dramatic escape or a desperate attempt to run away from her life. At least, that's what she told her friends and followers. Eleanor was known for her unique content. She documented the quiet, forgotten places that most people speed past on their way to bigger destinations. Forgotten highways, sleepy towns, and diners where time seemed to stand still. Her goal for this trip was simple, yet ambitious. Drive from Indiana all the way to Montana using only back roads, no highways, no interstates, just the old forgotten veins of the country. The first 2 days of her trip were exactly what she'd hoped for. Peaceful, beautiful, and a little bit lonely. She drove through endless fields of gold, stopped at old diners with cracked vinyl booths, and explored small towns that looked like they were frozen in the 1950s. She documented it all, her camera capturing the quiet beauty of a world left behind. But on the third night, everything started to change. Eleanor stopped at a town that was nowhere to be found on her map. There was no welcome sign, no sign listing the population. All she saw was a single lonely gas station, a diner next to it, and a small motel with one flickering light that cast long dancing shadows. She pulled in, feeling a little uneasy. Her phone showed a full signal, which was strange enough out here, but none of her apps would connect to the internet. The man working at the gas station was quiet, his eyes seeming to look right through her. When Eleanor tried to make small talk and asked for the town's name, the man paused for what felt like an eternity. He finally spoke, his voice low and raspy. "People don't usually ask that," was all he said. She gave a nervous laugh, paid for her gas, and drove the short distance to the motel. That night, something woke her up. She glanced at the clock. 1:40 a.m. It was a strange sound. Not loud enough to be alarming, but not quiet enough to ignore. It sounded like tires rolling slowly over gravel. Back and forth, back and forth. She crept to the window and pulled back the curtain, expecting to see another late-night traveler. But the parking lot was completely empty. Her car was the only one there. Not a single person in sight. Shaken but exhausted, she convinced herself it was just the wind and went back to bed. The next morning, as she was loading her bags, she placed her hand on the hood of her car. It was warm. The tires were warm too, as if the car had been driven recently, but she hadn't moved it all night. She hadn't even left the room. Trying to rationalize it, she blamed the morning sun, even though the air was still cool. She brushed it off as paranoia and got back on the road, eager to put the strange town behind her. But around noon, her stomach dropped. Up ahead, she saw a familiar sight. The same gas station, the same quiet man standing outside, the same flickering motel light, somehow visible even in the bright daylight. Eleanor slammed on the brakes. This wasn't possible. She knew for a fact she hadn't turned around. She checked her GPS, and it confirmed she'd been driving straight, the mileage count ticking steadily upwards. Yet, the world around her was repeating. The same diner, the same broken billboard advertising a brand she didn't recognize, the same sharp curve in the road she had taken hours ago. It was a loop. At exactly 2:17 p.m., her car radio, which had been off, crackled to life. First, there was only static. Then, a woman's voice emerged from the noise. It was calm, slow, and eerily clear. "You missed your exit," the voice said. Eleanor screamed, gripping the steering wheel. "Where am I? What is this?" The radio just clicked off, plunging the car back into silence. Pure panic began to set in. She saw a small dirt road branching off to the side and desperately tried to turn, but the steering wheel wouldn't budge. It wasn't locked. It just felt incredibly heavy, as if the car itself was refusing to leave this one stretch of pavement. She drove for what felt like hours, but the sun never moved from its late afternoon position in the sky. There was no sunset. The shadows on the road never changed their length. Time itself seemed broken. She looked at her phone, and the date was flickering randomly. 2018, then 1994, then 2029. Bizarre notifications started, popping up from apps she had never downloaded. Journey in progress, do not stop. Eventually exhausted and terrified, she saw a sign looming in the distance. The letters were stark white on a black background. Rest area, last stop. Every instinct screamed at her to keep driving, to not stop, but she was so tired, so defeated. She pulled in. The parking lot was filled with cars. Dozens of them, all of them old, rusted and covered in a thick layer of dust and grime. And all of them were empty. A small restroom building stood in the center of the lot. Hesitantly, Eleanor got out and walked inside. The air was cold and stale. On one wall there was a large bulletin board. It was covered edge to edge with missing person posters. There were hundreds of them, spanning decades, different states, different eras, different faces, men, women, young, old, but they all had one chilling detail in common. They had all vanished while traveling alone. As her eyes scanned the board, a new, freshly printed poster caught her eye. Her blood ran cold, her knees buckled. It was her face, her name, Eleanor Price, and the date listed as the day she went missing was tomorrow. She stumbled back outside, gasping for air. Her car door, which she had locked, was now wide open. She peered inside and the radio was on again. The same calm, detached woman's voice spoke from the speakers. "Everyone arrives eventually." That was it. Eleanor screamed, jumped back in the car, and floored it. The road ahead narrowed, the trees closing in on both sides, forming a dark tunnel. The sky, which had been stuck in a perpetual afternoon, finally darkened into a deep, starless night. At exactly 7:03 p.m., a pair of headlights appeared in her rearview mirror. They were gaining on her fast, but it wasn't a car. There was no vehicle, no shape, just two bright, floating orbs of light, perfectly matching her speed. She watched in horror as her rearview mirror began to crack, a spider web of fractures spreading from the center. And then, a handprint materialized on the asterisk inside asterisk of the glass, not touching her, just there, and ghostly imprint from within the car. She sped across a short, rickety bridge, and as soon as her tires hit the other side, the lights behind her vanished. Suddenly, everything changed. She was on a busy highway. There was traffic, brightly lit signs for cities and exits. Horns were honking, it was normal. Her GPS snapped back to life, its own robotic voice calmly telling her that her destination in Montana was hundreds of miles away. Shaking, she pulled off at the next town and immediately called the police. They were kind, but skeptical. They found nothing wrong with her car. An inspection revealed no signs of damage or tampering. They ran a search for the town she described, the rest stop, anything. They found no record of them, no missing posters matching her description. It was as if the entire experience had been a hallucination. Eleanor drove straight home. She canceled the rest of her trip and never spoke of it again. The hours of footage she recorded during those terrifying days were never uploaded. She simply stopped traveling, stopped blogging, and retreated from the online world she had built years past. Then, a user on Reddit posted a strange video they had found on an old dashcam bought at a flea market. The video showed a terrified woman driving alone at night on an empty road. She was crying, repeating the same phrase over and over. "It keeps looping. It keeps looping." The timestamp on the footage was corrupted, showing a date that didn't exist, but it was the comment section that uncovered the most disturbing detail. In the faint reflection of the rearview mirror, eagle-eyed viewers noticed it. Someone, or something, was sitting silently in the back seat. Eleanor Price officially disappeared in 2022. Her car was found a week later, parked at a desolate rest area in the Midwest, a rest area that doesn't appear on any map. The engine was cold. The radio was on, tuned to a channel of pure static. And the very last thing recorded on her phone's voice notes was that same .com/familiar voice, delivering one final, chilling message: journey complete. So if you're ever planning a solo trip, exploring the roads less traveled, remember Eleanor's story. Not every road is meant to take you somewhere. Some roads are just meant to keep you. Thanks for watching. If you have a story about a road that felt wrong, share it in the comments below. And don't forget to follow for more strange journeys into the unknown.